Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. In this Zoom panel, we will be discussing the film of Jimmy Lai. Jimmy Lai, a businessman, journalist, and one of the most outspoken defender of democracy in Hong Kong. His story is defined by a deep conviction that freedom of speech is worth protecting at all costs. Jimmy Lai, as the founder of Daily, used his platform to expose injustice and to give voice to millions of citizens who fear for their freedom. His struggle reminds us that democracy is not something that we can take for granted, but something that people still fight for. Our goal is to help us understand this film. With that, I will introduce myself and the speakers. My name is Cindy Tayul. I'm a criminal justice major at Vanguard University.
My name is Ruth Gray, and I am a musical theater major.
My name is Nora Simmons, and I'm a biology major.
My name is Michelle Rodas, and I'm a sociology major.
My name is Crystal Sosa, and I'm a liberal studies major.
I will be beginning our questions for today. Our first question will be, what was your favorite part of the documentary and why? I will start to answer that first question. My favorite part of the documentary is when Jimmy inspires millions of citizens in Hong Kong to raise their voice and to fight for democracy, even though right now um, they keep fighting for it. So I think that's my favorite part.
My favorite part of the documentary was how the documentary highlighted Jimmy Lai's wife and her persistence to stand by her husband no matter what he faces because of what he does, and the fact that she never asks him to stand down but stands by him through it all. I found that to be really admirable of her.
My favorite part was to see, kind of towards the end, his company, Apple Daily, the news company, kind of have his back even when he gets arrested and keep and continue to um, use that platform to speak out about the issue and just continue to support him even though he was facing all this like scrutiny and getting arrested and everything. So
My favorite part of the documentary was actually learning about like the origin of Hong Kong and how it was originally owned by the British like government, and how they, with the freedom that the British government gave them with like trade and everything, they like built this really great country where people were free. They could start their own companies and like basically they built that country by themselves, and I think that was really inspirational to see how all these people came together and like built this country.
My favorite part overall was just seeing how Jimmy Lai didn't stay quiet and he continued to keep fighting for his for himself and the Hong Kongers. And I also liked when he says that if I suffer for the right cause, it only defines the person I'm becoming. So overall, I think that just summarizes like my favorite part, how he just kept fighting for others.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Our next question will be, what is one moment or decision from Jimmy Lai life that you personally connect with and why? For me, I think one moment of Jimmy Lai that I connected with is when he had breakfast for the first time in Hong Kong. He was so happy to see so much food on the table. For someone who has never gone through hunger, a table with a lot of food might not mean anything, but to him it meant like a lot of things. Like he was so moved, he cried because he saw like so much food. Part touched me so much because I also grew up in a house where my mom, my sister, and I had to share like one egg, and sometimes we didn't have anything to eat. Yeah.
I think the decision that I most related to from Jimmy Lai was his decision to get baptized because he felt like he couldn't go forward with his cause without really solidifying himself in his faith. I think that I personally have related to a lot of moments where I felt like I couldn't overcome any of my obstacles without my faith, and so I liked that the documentary spent time to highlight this decision.
Yeah, same for me. I really liked how it included that he committed his life to the Lord and that um, he depended on his faith a lot for to to go forward and keep standing up for what's right. And just like seeing his faith was really inspiring, and I think I kind of connected to it at that part. Yeah, I think that was just really empowering.
I liked Jimmy Lai's approach to like protesting and his approach to like demonstrating against the government, and he placed an emphasis on like peacefulness and like uniting, but like not giving way to violence, because once violence got involved, things would get tricky, and then the government would have a reason to like suppress the protests, right? So I just really liked his stance on like, or I just liked his approach to the protesting, because he really put an emphasis on the morality, and I think that's one of the most important things is like remembering that we have like something against, like they have something against the government. They have a reason to protest against them, and that's because of their morality.
I like the moment where Jimmy Lai says, if I say this, what is the consequences? If I do this, what's the consequences? I can do nothing. And the reason why is because he just pushed all those negative thoughts to the side, and he just continued and did what he thought was right for himself and for others.
Thank you, everyone. Now we're going to answer our discussion questions. Our first discussion will be, what concern does this film bring up for you?
So, the first concerns that come up for me are definitely just concern for the people of Hong Kong and their safety. But it also just makes me think of other places that experience a lot of freedoms that could be at risk. Just concern for the state of those places as well, seeing how quickly this situation escalated.
Yeah, it just brings up some concerns for the safety of people in Hong Kong in general and for Jimmy Lai. And it just is concerning because the outcome is so unknown and to us. And so I guess just concerned about like how is this going to end? Like, what's the outcome going to be? Like, we don't know. And also just concerning that Hong Kong was such a safe place for people to live. Like a lot of Chinese immigrants came and started lives there, like Jimmy Lai, and there were lots of opportunities for them there, and it all got taken from them, and the country just crumbled like really quickly. It was just really concerning to see how quickly it all happened.
So one concern that was brought up for me was the concern of like the public safety and like how law enforcement they got involved with the protests, obviously, and how they quickly turned violent and things like that, and how I guess my concern is like how can we protest peacefully even when law enforcement gets involved and it can get violent with them? And so yeah, that's one of my biggest concerns.
My concern is seeing how not every country has a freedom to speak up about their concerns about where they're living, as well as another concern that I have is seeing like how Hong Kong will be in the next few years.
Thank you, everyone. Our next question will be, do you think this news is broadcasted enough?
Through media, I haven't really seen a lot about like Hong Kong and all that. I did know there was something going on, but it's like the media doesn't cover it in a way that like makes it clear what's going on. But yeah, sorry. Um yeah, I just think it's good that we need to broadcast it more, because although it doesn't concern America like specifically, it is something that is like involving the world, and these are human beings, and I think we should be more empathetic towards their situation, considering they're also like us who have freedom, who had once freedom.
And if I'm being honest as well, I never heard about Jimmy Lai or his story at all. And as a person who's always like on social media, I feel like it wasn't even like brought out to social media as well. So I don't think it was broadcasted enough on the news. And like you guys said, I do believe that it should be broadcasted more.
Okay. The next question will be, how can we bring more awareness to this issue?
I think the easiest way to bring awareness to this issue is, first of all, through conversation, just with like friends and family, bringing it up, making it more aware in our own circles, I think is a very easy thing that all of us are capable of doing. I also think that we are in the age of the internet, and so people are able to post things on social media. They're able to bring awareness to issues online and have more people see it than if they were to just talk about it. And so I think that um, it's I think that there are ways that we can advertise this, not advertise, but like spread awareness of this issue, even if it's like sharing this documentary with people. Like even that is a way that we can share um, information. And so I think that those are the two things that I think of immediately.
Yeah, I would just say talking about it more and just broadcasting international news in general, or just kind of seeking out more international news, like knowing what's going on in the world. Um, and also social media can also be a really good tool. I think that's probably the most um any like media that people consume nowadays, by far. Like people don't really watch the news as much, but like everyone scrolls on social media. So, and I feel like social media has been really um a tool in like past or in other situations. Like a lot of people post about Palestine and other like international issues on social media that I've seen. So I think using social media to post about the situation in Hong Kong could definitely be beneficial to bring more awareness to it.
Yeah, I would agree with Ruth in like starting conversations with our friends and family, our peers, because personally for me, when I watched this documentary, I felt really compelled to like share it with somebody. So I did. I like shared it with my brother, and it was just like we like had a conversation about like freedom and like how it could be so easily ripped away from these people. And so I think yeah, just starting conversations and making people aware of what's like happening around the world is like the first step. And then there's also, I think towards the end of the documentary, I think they mentioned how um they were in contact with, or like Hong Kongers weren't allowed to just like post whatever they wanted on social media. It was highly like surveillanced. And so people from here in America, they like took on the role of like speaking for the Hong Kongers and like posting social media posts that they would want to post over there, but they can't. So I think that that's one way like we could personally get involved if we wanted to, like connect with Hong Kongers over there.
I agree with Laura when she mentioned about social media because I believe like, we can bring more awareness to this issue like by posting it through social media because not only will people see this like here in America or in California, but they can like it's worldwide. Social media is everywhere, and I feel like lots of people can get knowledge about that and like they can help Jimmy Light just spread the word.
Okay, thank you again. Our other question will be, what feeling surfaced for you while watching the film?
A feeling that surfaced for me while watching the film, I think that I felt a lot of sadness for the people of Hong Kong, seeing, the city that they'd built, this free place that so many people had come to for refuge, just kind of crumbling. I think that was, I immediately made me, you know, feel quite saddened. I think it made me wonder, like, how would I respond in a situation like that? And I don't think that I would have been nearly as brave or outspoken as Jimmy Lai was. So then I felt a great deal of admiration for him. I also grew up overseas in a country where, in the last couple of years, things have started becoming a lot more unsafe there, and I've seen a lot of freedoms being taken away and things like that. And so it it made me think of that, and just seeing how many places across the globe are kind of falling into this pattern right now, I think
Mhm.
was just kind of like a disappointing thing to watch happen.
It just kind of brought up some sympathy for Hong Kong and Jimmy Lai, for sure. But also, it's just really empowering to see someone who has a lot of power and wealth, use that power and that platform to take a stand and stand up for what's right. So I think that's just really like, yes, it brought up a lot of sadness, but then there was this kind of hopefulness that I also felt, when we see that Jimmy Lai like uses his platform, uses his wealth to speak out and stand up for what's right.
Yeah, my initial reaction to the documentary was just like sadness and like pity and like just like it was just really upsetting to see something like this going on like in our modern day world, I guess. And I just felt really like empathetic towards them and like I felt like it like surfaced some like call to action, like some responsibility in me or something. Like it really impacted me in a way that I like truly thought about other people around the world, not just like in America. And so yeah, I think that's what I felt like.
And for me, I felt lots of sadness towards like Jimmy Lai because he was just trying to speak up for his country, just get the word out there, and it's just heartbreaking to see that he's currently in jail because of that. And but like Nora said, like it's like truly empowering to see that he had so much money and he decided to speak on it and everything, and he faced the consequences, but he didn't care because he was speaking up for others.
Okay, thank you everyone. As we conclude this discussion, we are reminded that Jimmy Lay's story is far from over. We all hope that he will be free one day and that democracy in Hong Kong will be shaped by those who keep fighting for it. And thank you again. To our speakers and to everyone watching this, we hope that today's discussion inspires you to stand for human rights and freedom. Thank you.